Picture this. You are the consultant cardiothoracic surgeon, and you have a 26-year-old patient with atrial fibrillation that cannot be controlled by medication. Now, he's already on the operating theatre, induced, and you're planning to carry out a cardiac atrial ablation for the AFib. So you've inserted the catheter through the femoral vein. It's gone up through the inferior vena cava. It's in the right atrium. Everything is fine. All the computers are working fine so far. And then just before you pierce through the atrial septum with your gauged needle, a glitch happens. The computers shut down. A blackout in the screens. You restart the computers. Everything's working fine again, but 30 seconds later, the same thing repeats. You repeat the procedure a few more times, restarting, hopefully getting the machine to work. The patient's already on the bed. You already want to carry out the surgery and help them return to a normal life. But you can't. You figure out that the computers are not working properly. There's a glitch in the imaging modalities. What do you do next? Hello and welcome to Medicinals. My name is Abdullah Dawood, your host. And today we'll be talking about and delving into the world of medical uncertainties in your medical career. So this case was something that I actually witnessed in my placement. And it was kind of serious because if you carried on the procedure without imaging modalities, you're doing a blind bat operation. You're going in there, you have a high likelihood of killing the person you're operating on. So what do? Well, this situation called for an emergency team meeting. They called on another consultant and they had a quick discussion about what to do. In the end, it was decided to cancel the operation and delay it. So there you had the challenge of the fact that you had to also cancel all your other operations for the day or until the machine got fixed. And also the fact that you had to wait for this patient to wake up from their deep induced sleep and tell them, sorry, we couldn't carry out the operation. Understandably, they feel angry. But then you have to also explain to them the reality of the situation, which is if you carried on, they had a higher likelihood of causing very terrible damage to the patient, injuring them or potentially killing them. Again, this is very, very, very delicate surgery. You're next to the major vessels of the heart. You're inside the heart. You can cause a cardiac tamponade. You can pierce into the aorta. Lots of different things can happen, even with the imaging modalities working. Now imagine if they didn't work. So understandably, you'd have to cancel the operation, and that's what they did. But talking to the surgeon afterwards, he mentioned something that hit me quite well. Which is, this is what medical school doesn't teach you. They teach you all the pathologies, all the medication, a few of the ethics, about what your role as a doctor will be, but they don't teach you the things that you specifically have to learn as you go. This is day-to-day challenges that you don't know that will happen. You will go to work and the next thing you know, something new has happened, which is kind of what's interesting about the medical field. No 2 days are the same. But at the same time, it's frustrating. Because again, we don't get trained for this. And even if you do think to yourself that these things can happen and I will make a plan for them, you will think ahead, you will plan ahead. A good boxing analogy here is that you will come in with a plan for the fight. The first punch to the face, and that plan goes out to the window. Same here in medicine. You could plan meticulously what you will do, how you'll carry out your operations, what you will do if a problem happens. But that's not the reality. The reality is it's uncertain. So this is where critical thinking on the spot, and being an out of the box thinker comes in. This is where knowledge that you've learned in medical school becomes less important. A knowledge of thinking on your feet becomes paramount to carrying out your job. This is where in this situation is where the emergency meeting happened, and they had a quick conversation on what to do, and they realized it's in the best interest of the patient to wake them up and have a conversation with them. Or in this case, just wait for the inducing agent to die off. But then in medicine, you're going to have way more different situations. This is one situation that may not happen to you ever in your career or in your experiences. You may have to deal with something different. For example, if you work in A&E, you'll deal with a lot of patients that will have different personalities or will have different motives and will cause different, not problems, but uncertainties in your career. And this is all, again, as I said, critical thinking, your experiences, your thoughts, your discussions with your team members, your guidelines in the hospital all come into play for you to solve these situations to the best you can. And speaking as a doctor said, this is something that you don't get taught in medical school. And in my opinion, you don't really get taught at all. But you pick up and you advance on. And so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Medicinals, and I hope you found it helpful, just like I did when I was talking to the doctor about the situation. And so please subscribe and leave a like for this video, and also leave a comment telling me what I should do next or how you felt about this video. And I'll see you on the next chapter.